Hi everyone, Dr. Colin here, and I just want to congratulate everybody. This is going into our fourth week of our 30-day challenge, and it's been such a great few weeks so far. We've seen some fantastic results. I personally can say that I know the people that I've spoken with that have done their nutritional consultations have made some incredible changes with your nutritional approach so far. So I congratulate all of you, and for those of you who haven't done your diet diary yet, or your nutritional consultation, please get that done. Make sure you finish that. Make sure it's a good reflection of how you started this challenge before you made changes. And let's sit down and make some real positive changes to keep you going in the right direction. So today I have a short video about exercise for you. We're going to be including a push-up medley today. This is a push-up medley that anybody can do. It doesn't matter what level of fitness you're at. We start with very, very basic moves, and we work towards very, very advanced moves. So please watch the whole video. Find out where you personally can start. But all I would suggest to you is just get started. Just try one or two of the push-ups, and eventually you'll start finding it easier and easier over time. Push-ups are a great way to start building some strength, building some lean muscle mass, and really working your core as well. So I can't say enough about the push-up medley. This is actually a lot of fun. So work your way into it. See what moves you can try, and have fun with it.
So let's say you're not really much of an athlete. You're a self-proclaimed couch potato, and I know many of us are. So here's a very simple thing we can do to start a push-up. Maybe you've never done a push-up before. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to find a wall space. Very simple. Nice, easy wall space here. And I'm going to just basically face the wall, take my feet about 2 to 3 feet out from the wall, and I'm going to stand against the wall and simply do a push-up. All I'm going to do is I want to make sure, though, that I have a pair of shoes on and I'm not on a surface that would allow my feet to slip. So either a nice pair of running shoes or perhaps on a carpeted surface. I would suggest not wearing socks, either bare feet or a nice pair of running shoes. So I'm going to stand against the wall like so, and I'm going to take my feet about 2 to 3 feet out from the wall, and I'm very simply just going to bend at my elbows and allow my face to come towards the wall. Nice and slow and smooth, and then push back up. This provides a very light resistance against my chest and shoulders, and it's going to allow me to start feeling some strain through these muscles through here, especially if I've never done this before. And I would try to do as many repetitions as I could until my form started to deplete. Once my form starts to deplete, that's when I can stop and take a rest. And you'll find that as you do this more and more, your ability to do more and more repetitions will get easier. So I might start with 5 or 10 repetitions if I've never done this before, and maybe I would do 3 or 4 sets just to get myself going. Okay, give that a try. For my next push-up, I'm going to be using a chair. That helps me to get a little closer to the ground, but not all the way on the ground. So it gives me a little more resistance through my core. It's going to put a little more strain on my shoulders and chest as I do this exercise, but it's still not quite as tough to do as a push-up right on the ground, which I'm going to show you next. So let's do this chair push-up and work our way through this one. What I do is I get my feet flat out so my core is nice and strong. Now you're really going to feel the difference in your core on this one. You got to keep your stomach muscles really nice and tight so your pelvis doesn't sag. The last thing you want to do is be in a position like this or too far up like that. So you want to try to keep your body in a relatively straight position. You're holding yourself with your arms and shoulders, and then you slowly lower yourself down to the chair and then back up. Okay, nice and slow and smooth, and I'm keeping my core nice and tight as I do this. I'm feeling the resistance through my chest and shoulders and my arms, pushing up and down, nice and slow and smooth. And it's okay if you want to take a little pause at the top before you do your next push-up. I can rest a little bit, catch my breath, push down, and then back up. So that's a chair push-up. Great next step before getting right down onto the ground. Let's say I'm doing some push-ups and I get right towards the end where I can't do any more. I do a few repetitions and I get to the end and I'm really struggling on my last push-up, but I want to do a few more. I can then drop to my knees, and that makes things a little bit easier. It takes some of the weight off my core, and then I can continue doing my push-ups from my knees. and that just makes it easy to get a few more push-ups. It does still put some stress on your core, just not quite as much as when you're just on your feet and your knees are off the ground. So this is, again, a nice way for a beginner to get into some push-ups, just doing push-ups off your knees, or to be able to get a few extra repetitions if you just want to get that extra few in. Okay, so now we're down on our mat. We're just going to do some standard push-ups, and I'm going to show you some different variations of how to make these a little easier or a little tougher. We're going to start with just a very standard push-up. So our feet are together, our hands are just around shoulder width, they're a little wider than shoulder width apart. I'm just on my mat here, and I'm going to do a nice, slow, smooth push-up. So I start with my stomach on the ground, and I've got my hands ready to go, and I just very simply keep my core nice and strong, and I just push right up and hold it at the top. I want to get to the point where my elbows are fully extended, and then I come back down, touch my nose to the ground, and then back up. Nice and slow and smooth. Notice my core is nice and strong, my pelvis is not sagging down like this and not sticking way up in the air. I want to keep my core nice and strong through this move. And that's a standard push-up. We can make this a little tougher by putting our hands together. So if our hands come together, we can do what we call a diamond push-up. And notice my hands are forming a diamond shape. Okay? So I put those together on the ground. Now it really does take my shoulders and chest out of this maneuver. It's a lot more arms, but I'm still putting a lot of stress on my core. Again, I get in the position. Nice and slow and smooth. Notice my core is nice and tight. My stomach is not sagging down. My pelvis is nice and firm. Very good. So that makes things a little tougher for a regular push-up. Okay, now for you really advanced athletes, I'm going to show you some modifications where you can make these push-ups really tough. Take it to the next level. So first I'm going to show you what we call a walking push-up. So I've moved my mat here, so it's out of the way, and I'm just on the bare floor. So I'm going to start by doing a push-up, and then I'm going to move side to side. It really does put a lot of stress on my core and the muscles that are holding me up, my shoulders and arms as well, chest. Okay, here we go. Regular push-up, and I'm going to walk side to side. And I come back to the middle, and I do a push-up. And I may walk side to side, and I do another push-up. And I come back to the middle, do another push-up. Go to the left side, do another push-up. Come back to the middle, do another push-up. So that's what we call a walking push-up. Okay, now I'm really going to engage my core into this exercise. I'm going to start bringing my knees up to my chest between my push-ups. So this is a great core exercise, and again, this is a very advanced move. It'll really get your heart pumping, and it'll really put a lot of strain on the muscles in your core, which will help them get stronger. Here we go. I do my regular push-up, and then I'm going to start with my right knee, bring it up to my elbow, and then back down. Left knee, elbow, down. Right knee, elbow, down. Left knee, elbow, down. Now what I can do is I can modify that, and I can bring my knees to my chest. Knee to chest, down. Knee to chest, down. Knee to chest, down. Knee to chest, down. So again, that's another very metabolic exercise, and it'll really get your heart going, and it does put a lot of stress on your core. It really gets things strong. So the last push-up I'd like to show you is something we call a Spiderman Pushup. This is a very advanced move, but it does put a lot of stress on your core and will really help you start to get a lot stronger. So I get myself in a push-up position, and if you can imagine, you know, in the Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man scaling up a vertical wall, and that's essentially the move you want to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger my hands like this. I'm going to bring my left knee up to my left elbow, and I'm going to do a push-up. And then I'm going to switch. Push-up. And then I can start to jump into it. So that becomes a very tough move, very metabolic, will certainly get your heart pumping, but it's a great exercise for your core muscles.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that push-up medley. I know some of those moves are very advanced, but all I would suggest is start where you feel it's right for you. Even if it's against the wall, just start. That's all you got to do. Just try one or two, give it a go, and tomorrow try one extra one. Keep building up on that. It's a great exercise program to add into your own fitness schedule. So remember, we're getting close to the end of our 30-day challenge. We'll be doing our weigh outs coming up soon. As I mentioned earlier, please get those nutritional consultations booked. We're only doing those up to the middle of June, and then after that, we will not be doing them anymore. So make sure you get those booked and make the right changes for yourself. The other thing, too, is start working on those testimonials, especially for those of you who have had some great changes in your lifestyle so far since you've begun this 30-day challenge. We want to hear about it. That's absolutely something we'll be looking at, seeing how you've adapted everything that we've been talking about into your life and making those positive changes. So work on those testimonials. As I mentioned, we've got some great prizes for the winners at the end, which we will be announcing at our dinner coming up at July the 4th. Thursday, July the 4th is our next dinner. In the meantime, have a great day, and hey, keep up the great work. Fantastic results so far.